This time we are heading towards Bangriposi, a town in Mayurbhanj district, Odisha. The unique beauty of nature is indeed a God's precious gift to earth. Nature itself is very breathtaking. And if one gets an opportunity to visit Simlipal, what else a nature lover can ask for? Since it's gonna be a complete forest ride, we had equipped ourselves with total camping accessories, so a hot cup of tea and food is available at any spot. We are carrying a portable gas stove which runs on butane gas, and we are also carrying camping chair and LED lights. It's a story of a legendary IFS officer who adopted a tigress as his own daughter, Koiri. We are heading towards Simlipal Koiri Resort. This resort was originally owned by Odisha Tourism and is now under private management. The Koiri Resort is named after the legendary tigress, Princess Koiri. One can see the memorable snaps of Koiri around the resort. Koiri became a free-living family member at Chaudhary Official Bungalow in Joshipur. She was fed with mutton and milk powder and slept on their beds. Chaudhary was himself a pioneer of wildlife conservation, particularly of tigers. Special pug mark tracking technique, which was the bedrock for tiger census right up to 2004. Nobody knew how to measure the population of tigers using pug mark until Chaudhary designed a simple instrument called the tiger track in 1970. In 1960, he eliminated number of man-eaters in Odisha, saving both local lives and innocent tigers from public retaliation. Besides Koiri, Chaudhary also reared many other animals at Joshipur Bungalow like mongoose, hyena, dog and crocodile. Stayed with other animals, slept in a bed along with Nihar Nalini. Mr. and Mrs. Chaudhary consider Koiri her own daughter. I always felt Jungle Book story to be an imaginative relationship between human and wild animals. But Koiri's story has left us speechless. Koiri still roars in Simlipal jungle as the legend never dies. Sulaipat Dam, located in the middle of the forest, it is a soundless, pollutionless area, and everywhere you look around, the dam is covered with green trees. Sulaipat Dam has been constructed on two ends of hills, Bhitramda Hills, another is Kharanjharan Hills. The dam receives water from forest fountains starting from Gangiti Muta Hills corridor to Sanmada. The fountain water changes here to a big river, thus the dam project was constructed, which is now called Sulaipat Dam. The environment has such a pin drop silence that one would completely relax visualizing the scenic beauty. The village people depend on this dam for their livelihood, catching and selling fishes in the Sulaipat market. It's time for a tea break and some hot Maggie. While crossing the river, we came across kids enjoying bathing under sun in a carefree nature, splashing water, jumping. It's just an adorable scene. Moving along for our next stoppage, which is Brahman Kund in Bangriposi. It's a 30-kilometer drive from Koiri Resort. You get to see Buribala River crisscrossing the road. When you reach the spot, the parking is easily available. As you walk through the path, the rocks are placed in such a mannerism as if you're walking into an auditorium, where the steps lead to a perfect show of a crystal clear water cascading down from the top to a vast reservoir water body filled with different fishes. We were fortunate enough to visit the Dokra village. In India, today the Dokra artisans are settled over a vast tract of central and eastern India. Dokra handicraft dates back to prehistoric time of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro period of Indus Valley civilization. In 1926, an outstanding discovery was made of a dancing girl bronze statue. 4,500 years later, if Mohenjo-daro artisans would survived, they would be surprised to find similarity of their art form living in Odisha. Yes, we are talking about Dokra art. The process of making Dokra has not changed since Bronze Age civilization. It's fascinating that only natural raw materials are used. Dokra craft making or so-called lost wax technique has 6 steps. The first step is the core making, which is done with the cow dung and red clay, which are made slightly smaller and hardened under the sun. Next step is modeling. A detailed black wax strand prepared from bee wax is built around the core model. After modeling, the molding process starts. The wax model is coated with fine clay, which will create a detailed impression. Then begins the process of dewaxing. The mold is preheated to melt the wax and the molten wax is poured out. This leaves a cavity which has exact size and shape. Casting molten metal is poured into the cavity and the mold is left to be cooled down. The object is broken out of the mold. Traces of the baked clay are removed and the defects are repaired, and thus the finished product is prepared. These might be one of the decorative items in your drawing room, but it's beyond imagination that the laborious craftsmanship is not paid in a justified manner, for which it's becoming difficult for their livelihood. The Dokra art is on the verge of being diminished and being buried, if not protected. As the sun sets, it's amazing to see the natural, pollution-free method of crossing the river. Deoli Dam is the second largest dam in India after Hirakud Dam, totally made by soil, situated in the Mayurbhanj district of Orissa. This is famous for the Subarna Rekha irrigation project. We were fortunate enough to visualize the sunset from the dam, and it's feel completely relaxed to watch the sunset It's one of the best places for outing.